Hey everyone, hope you're all doing well. So in today's video, I'm going to be ranking all of the DLC characters in MK1. So this doesn't mean just the guest characters, it is all DLC characters. And I just want to mention that this is my opinion. It's going to be based on basically everything to do with the character in the game, the gameplay, how they look, even maybe like their gear. You know, there's going to be a lot of things that I'm going to be considering as to why. And yeah, I hope I don't make anyone upset or anything. This is just my opinion. But with all that being said, let's just get right into it. But first, I have a question of the day for all of you. Let me know your answer in the comments, and that is, who is your least favorite character in the game in terms of DLC, and who is your favorite? So, my least favorite, unfortunately, of course, there has to be a last spot, and for me, it just has to be Homelander. I'm not a big fan of his character. Now, I must say that I haven't watched the show he's from, and I'm not really all that interested in watching it, so maybe if I watched it, I would like the character more. NetherRealm is usually pretty faithful when it comes to representing things from outside of the Mortal Kombat license, but for me, there's just a few things I don't like about him. First of all, the gear system is a big issue at MK1 because there's so little things to customize. I think his customization's okay, like it's alright, it's not the best, it's not the worst. I'm just not a big fan of his design, and now yes, I know obviously it's taken from the show he's from, but for me, I feel like him and Omni-Man really stick out in this game, and not in a good way. I'm not a big fan of when they add characters with capes. Now, to be fair, I do think that Mortal Kombat characters with capes, like when Raiden has one, he looks really cool, but adding in like bright characters, you know, with really tight suits and really bright colors just doesn't look right in Mortal Kombat to me. I know a lot of you may disagree, and that's okay, but for me, I just don't like how it looks. And one weird complaint that I have is that I'm just not a big fan of his personality. Like, I'm not a big fan of those smug, really arrogant characters, and just the way the lines are read and sort of like presented in the game, his facial expressions. I don't know why, he's just really annoying. It's sort of similar to Kung Lao, where like I like the character, kind of, but then they just make him really arrogant and just annoying. I just didn't like that. Again, I know that's probably the character in the show, but I'm just not a big fan of that. And for me, the biggest thing, and probably why he's last, is just there's only two characters on this list, this one and the next one, who I just cannot get a hang of gameplay-wise. And you can say I suck or whatever, I don't care. But for me, I play this game basically every day, and if there's a character I can't pick up, then to me, they're probably either just not for me, or maybe they're more difficult than what I'm used to. But either way, he's probably in like my bottom three in terms of like the most difficult characters to play for me. I just don't think he's fun. Like, you'll see in this footage, I cannot get any combos with him. Like, when I play him against friends online, I am just zoning. Like, that's it, because I just can't figure it out. I don't know, I'm just not a big fan of his gameplay, and I don't hate him or anything. Like, if we have to rate him out of 10, he'd probably still be like a 5. I don't hate him or anything. It's just I don't have experience with the show, and how he's presented in the game, while faithful, I'm pretty sure, it's just not for me. Next up, second last, has to go to Omni-Man. You may have guessed that because I was sort of talking about him in the last one. Now, similar to the last one, I actually haven't seen the show. I'm pretty sure they're both on the same like service you need to watch these two. They're on like the same one, I'm pretty sure, which I don't have. It might be like Amazon or something, I don't know, but they're on something that I don't have, so I can't watch the shows. Now, this show I'm a bit more interested to watch, the one that he is from, and I don't mind him as much. I think his gear is actually the same as Homelander's, like the cape and maybe like the boots they wear or something. But for me, I feel like he stands out more in this game in a bad way. The reason that I have him above Homelander though is because I like his personality a bit more, and I think gameplay wise there's a bit more to do with him. Like, he has more potential in my opinion to be a character I could learn and play, whereas Homelander I've basically just given up. I just like his look a bit more. Yeah, he stands out more in a way that I don't like, but I personally sort of like his gear just a little bit more, and just personality wise, gameplay wise, I think he stands out a little bit more. He was also the first guest character they added, so at first I wasn't a big fan, and obviously I'm still not the biggest, but I do like his inclusion. So I'm going to put him in second last. He would still probably get a 5, maybe a 5 out of 10. So one thing I forgot to mention at the start of this video is that I actually made a short on this exact topic yesterday, or maybe today, depending when I make this video and release it. But I had an order specifically for this video, but I've actually changed my mind for the video, and this is a character I had a few spots down, but I'm actually going to put him third last, and that's Takeda. And I really don't like that because I loved him in MKX. I thought he was really fun. He was just a really good character in my opinion. Story, you know, was pretty good. Gameplay, his costumes, he only had 2, but they were really cool. And I was really excited when they announced him because you'll see in this video, I'm not a big fan of Kombat Pack 1. In my opinion, it's probably the worst Kombat Pack they've ever made. Again, because I haven't seen 2 of the shows of the guest characters. And the MK characters, aside from Takeda, felt like they should have been in the game at launch. Like Quan Chi and Takeda are already, not Takeda, sorry, Quan Chi and Ermac are already in the game, in the story. So I feel like they should have been on the base roster. Either way, for me, Takeda was just really disappointing. Like, costume-wise and gear-wise, of course, he's very limited, like every other character. I think his gear, it was okay. It was his mask, not too bad. And I think his color palettes were sort of weird, but kind of cool. They were okay. For me, the biggest issue is the gameplay. I think it's a major downgrade, which sucks because I actually am one of the few people that think MK1's gameplay is maybe the best gameplay MK's ever had. I like it more than MKX. It's like that good blend of slower from MK11, but faster like MKX. It's like a perfect in the middle, in my opinion. I really do like it. But for me, Takeda was just a big downgrade. For me, something that really made me not like the character as much was because in most MK games, in MK1 especially, when you have meter and everything, you can get really good combos, and MK1 especially with the cameos, you can get crazy combos. Like with, I'll just use Sub as an example, with Sub-Zero, if I use Sonya cameo and no meter, like I can probably get like 37%, and Sub-Zero's damage isn't that good. But with Takeda, I found I went through almost every cameo and I couldn't get a combo with him, over 30% with 1 bar and cameo, which in MK1 is sort of bad, right? Like I feel like his damage used to be good. I feel like they nerfed it. I could be wrong. But either way, I feel like his damage is just really disappointing and his combo strings just don't look as cool. I don't know, maybe a weird thing to say, but I feel like he was definitely a downgrade from MKX. Next up, I have Ermac. This character, I think, should have been on the base roster, but initially I had him above Quan Chi, as in he would be next. But to me, the reason he isn't is because I think his default costume isn't very good. I know it might be a weird take. I haven't heard many people disliking it. I don't love it. I think his masks are pretty disappointing and sort of weird. And weirdly enough, I actually don't think he's very fun gameplay-wise. He's one of the few characters that I really like story-wise, but just gameplay-wise, I just don't like him very much. And I can get sort of like combos with him. He's one of those characters I play maybe like once every sort of few weeks, and then I forget literally everything once I stop playing him for 20 minutes. It's a really weird situation sort of thing. Like, I don't know, there's just something about him that just, he doesn't appeal to me like he normally does gameplay wise. I think, again, like Takeda, he's just really boring. I know a lot of people will disagree on that, but just not for me for some reason. And that sort of goes into the next character, and that's Quan Chi. For me, I actually think he is the best in the Kombat Pack in terms of gameplay. I think he's really fun, and I like his gear quite a lot as well. The reason I don't have him high up is because, again, I'm not a biggest fan of this Kombat Pack. I'm not a big fan of Quan Chi's character. Even in MK1, when they try to give him a bit more of an origin story, I just didn't like him all that much. Like, yeah, his gear is okay. I think his costumes are pretty wank. His default one's okay. The Deception, the Deadly Alliance one's okay, but all the rest of them kind of suck in my opinion. I don't know. I like him, and gameplay-wise, again, maybe my favorite. But yeah, I don't know. Not too much to say when it comes to him. Next up, we have our first Kombat Pack 2 character, and that's Cyrax. So, yep, her and Sektor gender swaps. A lot of people did not like that. For me, I personally don't care that much, but I sort of cared more when it came to Cyrax because Cyrax is probably a top 5 character for me. Cyrax was like my first main character when I first played MK9, so the character is very special to me, and seeing him get turned into a female, look, I don't care about it as much. For me, as long as the story made sense and they were fun to play as, I didn't mind all that much. And I think story-wise, she was kind of meh, she was kind of boring, but I do think gameplay-wise, she's really, really fun. I'm pretty sure she's like a top-tier character as well. Yeah, I feel like she was pretty good. Unfortunately, her gear sucks in my opinion, and again, she only has like the one skin. Like every DLC character has like one skin, except for like Ermac and Quan Chi, and maybe some others have like one or two other like ones, but still, I feel like she was done pretty good, like gameplay wise and everything. Weird complaint right now, I'm not a big fan of the accent. I know Cyrax is always meant to be African, but I don't know, there's just something about the accent I just find kind of irritating. I don't mean to like offend anyone by saying that or anything, but yeah, I don't know, I just wasn't a big fan. I feel like, again, it would have been better if they were kept males, but it's fine at the end of the day. Now, Peacemaker is next, my favorite character from the first Kombat pack, probably because I've actually watched a bit of the show. Keep in mind, I've watched like 2 episodes, but I've already seen like a bunch of references from the show in the game. Now I sort of understand them. I think his gear is pretty solid, and I think his gameplay is actually really fun too. Not the best with him, but I feel like he weirdly suits Mortal Kombat a little bit more, even though he is a very bright, you know, he's got red, yellow, blue color scheme, sort of like Homelander, but I feel like he just works a bit more, and his sense of humor is a nice thing to have, because yeah, he's kind of cocky like Homelander, but he comes across like a bit of a tool, but kind of in a funny way. I'm not too sure how to really explain that, but I think if you have the character, you've played against him, you have him, I feel like you sort of will know what I mean. He adds a bit of, I guess, laughter to the game, which might be a weird thing to say, but I feel like he's just interesting, he's funny, and he just adds a little something to the roster, which is all very like stoic, like not really joking around characters, obviously aside from Johnny, so I appreciated that. Next up, this one might be a bit controversial. My least favorite guest character from Kombat Pack 2 is actually Ghostface. I was probably the most excited for Ghostface out of the 3 guest characters in this pack, and he's not disappointing or anything. I've just now realised I forgot to rate all the last few characters. All of them would be like a 7. Ghostface is like an 8. Gear-wise, I think he's okay, and skin-wise, I think he's pretty good. Gameplay-wise, I think he's also pretty solid, and I think his finishes are really good too. So you might be wondering why he's so low, and to be honest, it's just because I think every other character I haven't, mentioned yet is just a bit better. For me, the biggest thing that was sort of not great for me, and this is going to be controversial, is actually the gameplay. I think how it all works, how you can have like another Ghostface come in, is pretty cool. But for some reason, I'm just not the biggest fan of the combos. I feel like I can get, decent combos down for someone who isn't a pro, but there's just something about him that's just not that fun to me. And I don't really have all that much to say about Ghostface, to be fully honest with you all. Again, he's probably like an 8. Like, I think he's really cool. Gear's okay, gameplay's pretty good. His skins are alright. There's just something about him that I just don't like. I can't really pinpoint it, but we're just going to move on to the next character, and that's Sektor. I feel like she is really, really fun. Skin-wise and gear-wise, she's the same as Cyrax in that she sucks. There's nothing good. Like, there's 1 or 2 decent palettes, 1 or 2 good masks, which is just the default, and the MK3 masks, which sort of look weird on them, so I don't even really use them. I usually just use like the default, maybe some variant of it, but yeah, it's just a bit weird with them. I feel like keeping the males would have been better, but look, if it works in the story, which it kind of did, the Chaos Reign story wasn't very good, but that's not neither here or there, that's not what we're talking about, but I feel like she was okay. Gameplay wise is where she really excels. I feel like her, I don't want to say powers, because she uses like the suit, but the suit is a really cool thing. I feel like it really looks better on her. The red looks nice, and yeah, I just really like all the weapons that she has. I weirdly enough, I really like just like the voice acting as well. I feel like she was just done a bit better than Cyrax. I don't know if that's a weird take, but for me, I just liked her a bit more. So next up, we have the T1000, top 3 now. The T1000 was one I was not really excited for at all, to be fully honest, but he's really cool. I think he has the best gear in the game. His skin, his colors that he can have are really, really cool. And the best thing about him, again, this is something I've actually seen. I've seen the movie that he's actually in, and you see so many references and stuff when you hadn't watched them before. You see it in Mortal Kombat, and you're like, that must be a reference. And you go through the movie, and you start realizing that all of the things that you saw were indeed references, and it definitely makes the connection to the character a bit bigger. Even though I've only seen T2 once now, I wanted to hop in and play the T1000 more, and definitely inspired me to hop in and do some combos and stuff, which was pretty cool. It happened in MK11 as well with Rambo. I thought it was cool. and then I watched 1 or 2 of the movies, and then he became one of my mains. So that's definitely a cool little tie-in, and I don't have much to say really. I feel like he is maybe the last DLC character we're getting. Who knows, based on the leaks and stuff I've been covering, maybe not, but it seems likely maybe, because I went all out with this guy. Like, his effects look sick. Like, when you damage him, like, he's all like melty and like, well, liquid metal. It looks really cool, and it's just something different that I don't think they've really done before, so I really appreciated the effort. Now let's get on to the top 2. If you had asked me who I was the least excited for the Chaos Reigns expansion character-wise, when they first announced it, my answer would 100% be Conan. I have literally no familiarity with him. The only thing I know is that he is played by Arnold. That's literally all I knew. And yeah, when he was first announced, not excited. Even when he was first shown, like, gameplay-wise, not excited. As soon as he released, however, holy, he is incredibly fun. I would say he's top 3 in terms of fun factor in the game for me. I think a lot of people can agree. He's really fun. Being such a big character, he's really fun. He feels different, kind of in a sort of inexplainable way. He feels different to play as, and he has some really like big launches that are really cool. His costumes aren't great. Again, same with basically every DLC character. They don't really have any. And gear-wise, he isn't great either. But it is just his sword. But gameplay-wise, that carries him so hard. Like, his gear and skins are okay, but like gameplay-wise is what put him up here. I think he's really cool. Again, any references I don't know, because I'm pretty sure all those Conan movies are old as shit, and I'm not going to go through and find them because apparently they're balls. You know, maybe I should watch them, I don't know, let me know. But yeah, either way, gameplay wise, he is so carried. I know he isn't voiced by Arnold, but I think the actor that voiced Terminator in MK11 did the voice here, and I think it's much improved here. Maybe not perfect, but definitely better. But gameplay 100% is what's pulled him into the second spot. Number 1 though, for me, has to be Noob Saibot. So I wasn't a big fan of this story wise, because Sub-Zero is my boy, so I was really annoyed that they kept, basically whenever Sub-Zero is Bihan, or Bihan is Sub-Zero I should say, they always kill him off as soon as possible, which I hate, especially now because Scorpion is Kuai Liang, so we don't have a Sub-Zero now. So I really hated that they killed Bihan off so early. Like, we never get a villain Sub-Zero, so I was really annoyed that they did that, and I won't lie, I still am. Story-wise, I'm not a fan of this, and they sort of teased at the end that they could change him back into Sub-Zero, but it never happened. So yeah, I'm a bit salty when it comes to that. I'm really annoyed that they turned Sub-Zero into Noob already, but everything else about him I love. Gameplay, he's awesome, maybe my favourite Noob Saibot ever. A lot of people hate the hat he's wearing. I won't lie, I like it. I actually like it. I think it looks cool. It looks very similar to the one he had in MK11, at least Kuai Liang had, Sub-Zero in MK11. And his costume, I like it. I like the green. I do think his powers should be able to turn purple as like an option, but either way, I don't mind it. I think it looks cool. His intro and outro animations are sick. All of his animations are sick. Like, his gear is awesome, like the MK9 mask, and like all his other masks look really cool. And I think his color options are also quite solid as well. He is honestly like a 9.5 out of 10. He is awesome. I really don't have any complaints, and the voice is so much better than MK11's. It's just a really good take on the character. Again, 9.5 out of 10, I'd say. I don't really give out 10s at all, because it has to be perfect for me to give it a 10. There are small issues, but I really like it. So that's my ranking of, I believe, all 12, I think it is, of the DLC characters in MK1. I was going to count Shang Tsung because he's technically DLC because he's a pre-order bonus, but he is in the game at launch, so I didn't count him. If I did, he'd probably be like 7th or 8th. But let me know your thoughts on this ranking. Did I cook? Am I stupid? I don't know. Let me know in the comments, but again, don't take it too personally. It is just my opinion. But yeah, Noob Saibot is the best in my opinion, and that stays true from the short I made earlier. But I hope you all have a great day. Consider subscribing if you want me to do any other ranking videos. Let me know what other ranking videos you'd want to see. And as always, hope you have a great day.